Hey there, welcome back, fellow Texans. This is The James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Welcome back to the big show for you kids. My kids start school on Wednesday. Get out of my house. Go get busy. Go do something. But I'll get you all caught up on that. We got a big show. At 3:30, we're talking to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, and I'm going to ask him the question, these people going to go to jail? Are they going to face any charges? Are they going to lose their seats? We'll find out about the fleeing state representatives from the Texas Attorney General coming up in about an hour and a half. And then 4:35, if you're not still with us, you might want to come back because I'm giving away Jason Aldean tickets on Dead or Alive. We're starting today, though, with a flurry of headlines. Can you just hang with me here for a second? Because there's about 4 different things that just happened this morning before the James Show started. Number one, there was a press conference today. Donald Trump was asked and talked at length about his big meeting with Putin this coming Friday. And in this, he was asked, is Zelensky gonna be there? Is Zelensky even invited? And he was kind of making a good point. It's like, what do we need Zelensky for? The last 3.5 years, this guy's been failing at coming to peace.
First of all, Volodymyr Zelensky is not invited on Friday?
He wasn't a part of it. I would say he could go, but he's gone to a lot of meetings. He's been there for 3.5 years, nothing happened.
And what is the definition?
I mean, do you want somebody that's been doing this for 3.5 years? What's the definition of a good deal? I'll tell you after I hear what the deal is. Because there could be many definitions. You're talking about a very large and complex situation. Now, I tell you, the war that I just settled with Azerbaijan and with, as you know, and Armenia was almost as complex as this one, having to do with routes, trade.
Meeting on Friday with Vladimir Putin.
Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin, and at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be made.
How will you know that?
Because that's what I do. I make deals.
Yeah, what an annoying report. How would you know that? I don't know. How do you know when you like your wife? How do you know a sunset's good? You just know. You know within a few minutes. Ladies know within the first 2 minutes of when a date picks them up on what the answer is going to be at the end of the date. And you can only lose permission since you can never gain permission. She already made her mind up. The business world's not too different than that. It's, not as sexy. But you can tell by a person's body language, by their stance on a couple of litmus test issues, by the way they talk, by their language, their facial expressions. You know if a deal's about to happen when you walk into a business room within a couple of minutes. And usually the answer is going to be yes. We just have to work out the right parameters. Donald Trump, also another big headline. He announced that there's a federal takeover of the local D.C. police department, and this is presented to us as a federal takeover of D.C. And so, I mean, what all does that mean? Details await here. He's not kicking everyone in the D.C. City Council out of office. He's not vacating all the seats and filling them with his personal political appointees. But the Constitution is actually pretty clear on this one. The federal government runs D.C. He has the power to do, I think, more than he's doing. So look, first off, let's look at what's the impetus of this. He says crime, blighted properties, it's a failing city that could do so much better. And so that's sort of the very vague impetus behind this. Here he was today at the same press conference.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that.
All right, now the prosecutor that's been put over D.C. by the feds, by the Trump administration, Jeanine Pirro, yes, the one from Saturday Night Live, she says her plan of attack is doing something about these D.C. laws that are too weak.
I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest, intent to kill. I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college.
All right, so that's her tact on it. You heard Trump's explanation. The only other information that we have right now is Trump is deploying the National Guard to D.C., and he says this is all about reducing crime. As I was starting this paragraph, this segment with you, the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, came out, had a press conference. We just paused it. So this happened, what, 3 minutes ago? Go. I'll say racism. Say it. All right, all right. We'll leave it there. Because the stat that keeps getting thrown back at this story is that, well, crime's at like a 30-year low in D.C. Well, crime across all of America peaked in the 90s 30 years ago. And D.C. still has a higher crime rate than many. Trump said Mexico City, Bogota, Colombia. Bogota, Colombia, where all the cocaine comes from, where the cartels have summer homes, or their main homes, not even their summer homes. We're doing worse than that in our own nation's capital. And then the next headline, Donald Trump talked a little bit about his new crackdown on Mexican cartels. Now, some of that is going to be happening in Mexico. Some of that's going to be happening on our side of the border. Will Trump's crackdown on Mexican cartels disrupt your life here in North Texas? You'll hear from Chris Olivares from the DPS next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. So my next guest couldn't make it. Chris Oliveris from the DPS was going to talk about how this new crackdown on cartels could reverberate through our communities here because, we don't feel like we're on the border, but we are in a border state, and we're one of the first major metropolitan areas once you cross the border. So it's quite reasonable that some of that could spill over. But in the too long didn't read version of the story here, Donald Trump has announced that he's preparing military operations with the Pentagon against drug cartels. These guys are now designated as terrorist organizations, and that's not just, to say mean things about them. That opens up the possibility of military intervention. If we are in a war on terror that's just sort of open-ending, then anyone declared a terrorist we are at war with, and so we can commit what? Acts of war. Yikes. Words mean something. This is, when we talk about words mean something, this is a great example of that. When they call the Mexican cartels terrorist organizations, let's see, that opens up mortal military violence against them. Okay, and what do many people say is the number one threat to America right now? Domestic terrorism. Oh, right-wing domestic terrorism. Oh, so when they say that, do they mean it's a green light for military acts of violence against domestic terrorists as well? We're in a war on terror. Should we be able to kill people that we deem domestic terrorists? Because that's a pretty loose definition. Scary games we play with these words, isn't it? But can I be just super cynical and not lose you for a second? Can I just be so negative and pessimistic, just abnormally? Because old Parker here is usually a ray of sunshine. It doesn't matter what we do against these cartels, y'all. We can knock them off. A new one will pop up tomorrow. We can go bomb a whole field full of opium, field of poppies. They'll plant a new one next season. We knocked off Pablo Escobar over 30 years ago. Did Hunter Biden miss a bump? Did it just go to the Cali cartel? Well, then we knocked out the Cali cartel. Well, then where'd it go after that? Now, I appreciate the fact that I can get some good Netflix series out of this. Narcos for the first 3 seasons was amazing. Narcos Mexico is amazing too. We're 2 seasons into that. We've gone through Flaco, Skinny, what was his name? Felix Gallardo. We're about to go to his pilot sort of taking over the operations after Felix gets knocked off. And we've met a young up-and-coming captain in the Juarez Plaza named El Chapo. I wonder if he's going to turn into anything big. This is never going to stop. The war on drugs is not going to stop until either A, we legalize all drugs, or B, Hunter Biden stops liking crack. And I mean that as a metaphor. Junkies, unless all junkies just decide, well, I'm never doing heroin again. Well, then you're fine. If everyone on earth can agree at one time, well, I'm never smoking crack again, then we won't have an issue with cartels. And I'm not saying I'm on the side of the cartels and they're a bunch of good guys and they don't deserve what's coming to them. They're terrible, terrible people. But when you make something illegal, you're turning it over not to the company that gives you the best product or the highest quality product or the cheapest product or the quickest, most convenient product. The market is going to be owned by who is the most corrupt and violent MF in the room. Who can buy off the most amount of politicians and judges and legislators and cops? Who can kill more of the rival gang and the rival cartels guys? It's not going to end. I see a lot of people cheering this. Yeah, this is going to be great. No, it's not. No, a bunch of people are going to get killed for a drug trade that's going to continue in just about the same proportion it will beforehand. We've spent a war on drugs 50 years since Nixon put his hand down or his fist down on the table. War on drugs. We've been taking it serious for 50 years. Drugs are winning. Drugs are in the White House. Hunter Biden left a baggie of coke in the White House. Drugs won, y'all. Drugs won. If the North Korean army had stormed the borders and they got a platoon that occupied the White House, you would say North Korea has won the war. Well, drugs have won the war. We can keep fighting it if you want. You can not listen to me. And we can just condemn our worst neighborhoods in every major metropolitan area to violence that's inspired and predicated on this mess. Or we can actually embrace the very hard lessons that we learned from prohibition. And I'm not promising a utopia. I'm not promising if you legalize all drugs that drug use will go away. It won't. It'll probably be about the same as it is now. Again, the lesson we learned from prohibition. But what will go away? The cartels. There will be no more Pablo Escobar. There'll be no more Pancho. There will be no more El Chapo. But even in our own backyard, there won't be drive-bys at a birthday party over drug turf. There won't be guys that are getting shot in the street over a busted up drug deal. Okay, don't listen to me. Just keep bombing them, keep cheering it on. It's not going to stop. And I'm sorry to be so negative. I'm usually not so negative. But this is costing us a lot. Think of how many people have had their lives ruined, not just by drugs. Throw on top of that your friend or your cousin or your aunt or whoever that had all the problems being strung out on drugs, trying to stay sober, trying to stay off the sauce, whatever they were on. On top of that, makes it a lot harder if they're in and out of jail. Makes it a lot harder if, you go to jail, you lose your job, you lose your footing, you lose your apartment. Then when you get out of jail, you have to start all over again. So you're more doing more harm to the existing drug users with good intentions. I understand the intent of wanting drugs to be illegal. You want people to stop using them. Hey, I do too, but this isn't working. It's only making it worse. It's making it harder for them. It's driving them into a life of crime. And then it's a revolving door. Once you have crimes on your records, all kinds of jobs are shut off to you. All kinds of doors of opportunity are shut. So now you have to deal with that, an even more bleak life while you're battling a drug addiction. And I don't know. I'm hesitant to talk about this topic too much because I know I disagree with everyone or most people who are Democrats and Republicans. And I know neither party's pushing this out there. And I don't even know if there's been a presidential candidate in your lifetime that is saying what I'm saying right now. But I feel like it's the right way to go. I'm not saying this to be sensational. I'm not saying this to get calls. I'm not saying this to get emails or so you don't turn the channel. I genuinely believe all of these drugs should be legal. And if you did that, this problem with the cartels would go away. And so let's look at how my position contrasts. How do you get rid of the cartels? Well, we're going to have to buy a bunch of military equipment, fly over a sovereign country, and start what? Conducting military operations on our peaceful neighbors' territory? Or me who says, let's just expand liberty, expand individual rights, individual freedoms, deregulate the whole damn thing, take off all the restrictions. Which one sounds like a better solution? Because mine will actually get rid of the cartels. The other one will just trade them out for the next cartel. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, updates on redistricting, including an interview with Jasmine Crockett over the weekend. You'll hear it all next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, sports fans. Oh, my goodness. It's almost here. Football's almost back. I don't know, preseason started. I don't count that. Preseason is not real football, but real football is almost here. And listen, if you're a Longhorns fan, I know what you're wondering. Is he on there? Oh, yeah. Your boy's on there. Arch Manning is on there. He has a game coming up in the hardest schedule in all of college football. And it's going to start against OSU. And all you got to decide is this new guy who's about to be a Texas football legend. Is he going to get 240 yards against OSU? More or less? That's all you pick. That's one guy. You pick up a lineup of 2 to 6 guys like that. You submit it, put a little money on it. You can turn the sports you're already watching into some real cash. It really is that easy. Go download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code WBAP. You get $50 with your first $5 play. So you use the promo code of this station. When you download the Prize Picks app, it'll ask you for a promo code. Just put in WBAP. And with your first $5 lineup, it'll get you $50 in promo cash that you can play with and turn into some real money. So we've got college football, we got pro football, we've got basketball coming up. We got women's basketball going on right now. And of course, always baseball. It's still summer. So whatever sports you're into, add a little fun to it with Prize Picks. Prize Picks, run your game. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. You know, a couple of the headlines kind of smushed together. Donald Trump's taken over the police and some of the functions of the District of Columbia because he says that city is just crazy with crime and violence. And also he's launching attacks against the cartels, discussing military operations with the Pentagon against the Mexican cartels, which he's recently deemed to be terrorist organizations. You know what? If you legalize drugs, it would clean up both of those problems quite a bit. It wouldn't get rid of all crime and it wouldn't get rid of all cartels, but what, 90% of it? Of both of those? Jeepers. It's almost like that would be a good idea that nobody but me and 5 other people support, I guess. 800-288-9227. Al in Azle, you're on WBAP.
Yeah, I got a question. I mean, not a question, but a solution.
Okay.
If they would take the dealers and make it a capital offense and don't put them in prison for 3 or 4 years or 10 or 20 years, go ahead and put them out there. They get 3 appeals and then execute them. And they'd start executing the dealers, and the dealers go up and they start executing the head of the, instead of giving them prison time. What's that do? Hey, can you handle three hots in a cot every damn day with all your medical care taken care of? No, execute them.
So where's that worked?
That works. Hey, look at back in the 1900s, early 1900s. Burglary was a capital offense, and they could hang you on committing a burglary in a inhabited dwelling.
No,
I mean, yes, it worked.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, where has a country that had, you know, in the modern times had drugs, and they're like, well, we're just going to start executing our drug dealers, and people there stopped using drugs?
Look at China. They didn't stop using drugs, but what do? They will execute them, and then they will send the cost of the bullet to the family.
Okay. So, kill people that sell drugs. All of them.
If you're a dealer, yes. How many people they killed? How many of our kids have they killed with their fentanyl? How many kids have they killed with their drug overdose?
Yeah, but Al, what about like the kids that are going to a Willie Nelson concert and some college freshman picked up a bag and split it with his friend? Do they both get murdered too?
Well, he's dealing it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he needs to be charged.
Okay, so you want him killed too?
Yep. Hey,
okay.
Put a bullet in the back of his head and let him go. Bye.
Al's the no-nonsense guy. I disagree, Al, but I see where you stand, and I'm glad you shared it with the rest of the show. All right, just start killing people. I got it. I don't think that's a better, more humane solution. I don't think that makes the world a better place. Who would be left to go to tomorrow's Willie Nelson concert? Skip in Dallas. You're on WBAP.
Thank you. My question is, you've got a supply and demand. We have the demand. Mexico's the supplier. If you go to war with Mexico, who's going to be the next supplier? Who's going to be in line? You got to solve our problem. We have the problem. The problem is we have the demand for it. Stop the demand for it.
How? How do you make Hunter Biden not like crack tomorrow?
Slap him in his head.
I'm sure plenty of people have slapped him. They probably paid him to slap him.
Well, you'll never. You got to stop the demand, and you'll stop the supply.
Okay, so how does bombing the cartel stop the demand?
You're not going to bomb the cartel. That's ridiculous.
Okay, cool.
You're bombing a lot of innocent people. You know that's utterly absurd to go to war with Mexico.
You know, I don't think it's so easy to turn off. I don't
stop the demand.
Look, I don't think it's.
Find somewhere else.
Okay.
To go.
I don't think it's possible to turn off the demand.
There's nobody's buying it.
We can reduce the demand.
You get halfway houses. You know, the drug dealer comes in. You got to put him in jail, rehab, make it work. You've got to solve the problem before you can go after the source.
I don't foresee how does that stop Hunter Biden? How do you stop Hunter Biden from wanting crack tomorrow? All right. Does everyone understand where my shortcoming is on that one? How do you stop Hunter Biden from wanting crack tomorrow? Well, you got to stop the demand. How do you do that? Well, you got to do things Hunter Biden has all the resources at his disposal for the last 40 years. There's going to be people who do drugs. There's going to be homeless people. There's going to be the bottom of society. We need to stop arranging society and just keep adding rules and restrictions to our own freedom in the hopes that the vagrancies will go away. They're not going to go away. We need to arrange our affairs of state as if these people exist and they're going to continue to exist, and say, how do we deal with this? Other than, well, if we just start bombing the crap out of people in Mexico, that'll stop them. If we just start executing everyone that sells a bag of weed, that'll stop them. We got to get rid of it. You're not going to get rid of the demand. You're not going to get rid of drugs. You're not going to get rid of druggies. We are human beings. We are flawed. Some of us are going to be addicts. And I thought the big lesson from prohibition was the addicts aren't going to go away if you make it even illegaler. Is that a word? 800 yeah, more illegal. I like illegal or better. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, man, I'm not so sure about this story. Did I just see a video of the mayor of Arlington cussing at a street preacher at the Southern Decadence Festival, the gay mecca in New Orleans? Yeah. I'll play it for you. It's heavily beeped, and then I'll talk with the guy who brought us the video, Carlos Tercios from Dallas Express, next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. This is a weird one. I'm not so sure about this. There was a report on Vice News, and it was highlighting some work done by street preachers there in the Southern Decadence. Southern Decadence Festival is like the gay mecca. It's a big, and I'm not saying that it's pejorative. It's literally like the gay guys decided this is going to be our pilgrimage every year. This is like their Essence Fest or whatever it is. So it brings out. I lived in New Orleans for a little while. So Decadence brings out the street preachers. Mardi Gras brings out the street preachers. Kind of annoying. Even as a Christian, it's kind of cringe to see that. It's like, oh, people see that and they associate me with these weirdos because they're just yelling terrible things at these people who are trying to enjoy their day. And whether or not I agree with them, their methods are questionable. That being said, Vice had some guy that was just screaming his face off at one of these street preachers. And the internet, being full of the ninjas that it is, tracked it down. And I'm told that this comes from the mayor of Arlington. Okay. I got this story from my next guest, Carlos Tercios from Dallas Express, back on the James Show. How confident are we that this is the Arlington mayor cussing out a street preacher? All right, I edited the snot out of this, so Carlos, this is going to be airtight. Now, some of the words he's saying are FCC compliant. I just beeped them anyway because they're describing something that, if there's kids listening, I don't want them to hear. So some of the words that aren't completely bleeped all the way, you can kind of tell what they are. That's because I want the adults to be able to understand this and still not run afoul of the FCC. The actual no-no words are 100% bleeped, but follow along with this.
You do. Not gonna happen, you punk. You don't think it's good, do you?
No, it's not the purpose.
Have you ever your old lady in the?
Who would do that?
I'll your old lady.
I'm here with them.
Watch your language. Hey, shut your ass. Hey, shut your ass, little piece of. You want to talk? These people are out here having a good time and go in. They don't come to your stupid redneck church and talk. You come out here and you shut.
All right, that's pretty rough stuff there, Carlos. What's the mayor's response to this? Yeah, so Carlos Tercios, Dallas Express. What is the mayor doing at Southern Decadence Festival anyway? Isn't, he's heterosexual and it's not illegal or wrong to go to Southern Decadence, but it is questionable if you're supposed to be hetero and if you're there and screaming at street preachers. Okay, Carlos Tercios. I mean, you've reached out for a response. We just hadn't heard anything yet. What happens if this guy doesn't respond? Interesting stuff. Well, I found it first through you, so you got to get all the credit for bringing it to me. Carlos Tercios, Dallas Express. Thank you, sir. Does it bother you if your mayor is cussing at a street preacher and saying, I bleeped your old lady in a not intended for those body parts act? Does it matter? Should it matter? 800-288-9227. I'll give you my reaction to the Arlington mayor on the viral video next on the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. All right, we got a couple of topics going right now. Number one is Donald Trump has announced that he is expanding efforts against the Mexican cartels, and he's plotting with the Pentagon for military action that could be taken, not guaranteed to be taken, against Mexican cartels. And over the weekend, the Mexican president, Sheinbaum, said there's no way that she would tolerate or approve U.S. military operations within the sovereign borders of her state. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not too optimistic because I think it doesn't matter what they do. You can knock out this cartel. It'll be replaced by another one tomorrow. As long as there's crackheads, there will always be a drug war. As long as smackheads like heroin, there will always be the heroin trade. And as long as young kids like to get high at Willie Nelson concerts, there will always be weed. The problem is, or the question is, do we want it to be through legal channels or do we want it to be through large multi-billion-dollar criminal organizations? And we're choosing the criminal organizations over and over. And I wish we wouldn't. 800-288-9227. The other big one I'm getting your response on is this. Man, I can't believe this is real. Is this the Arlington mayor cussing out a street preacher? Because he's saying some stuff that. Look, I'm a Christian, and I disagree with street preachers going out there and berating people. But he's saying, like, anti-Christian things here. Like this, I would never yell at a street preacher like this or treat another. I don't think I'd treat another human being like this. Check this out.
You do.
Not gonna happen.
You punk.
Jump somebody, bro.
You don't think is good, do you?
No, it's not the purpose.
Have you ever your old lady in the
Who would do that?
I'll your old lady.
Get in with them.
Watch your language. Hey, shut your ass. Hey, shut your ass, little piece of. You want to talk where you from? These people are out here having a good time enjoying. They don't come to your stupid redneck church and talk. You come out here and you shut.
Threatening to do something to a preacher's wife. That's not in the blueprint. Calling it a stupid redneck church. Uh-oh. What's going on here? That's not something that's usually comes out of the mouth of a politician. 800-288-9227. Would that be a problem if that was your mayor? To the phones we go. It's Eric in the colony. You're on WBAP. Go, Eric.
Hey, James. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. I'm calling in regarding the segment about Trump going after the drug cartels.
Right.
I disagree with one of the premises from that last segment in that if you go after the demand side, it's really going to improve the situation. But the problem is, if you go after the cartels, then the available drugs on the market, the prices are going to go up. They're going to go way up. And average people aren't going to have access to them. So it'll improve that. They're not going to have a choice but to go do something else.
Well, I would submit that the heroin user is still going to do heroin. He's just going to have to commit more crimes in order to afford it.
Yeah, well, that's probably true, but that's a smaller portion of the population.
Well, no, look, I think you're coming up with an important point here, because when you talk about opiate addictions, the real problem comes with, especially the people that are hooked on these pills that are relatively low dose. And I say that because, you're still functioning. People are still going to work. There is a weird subset of the doctor world that is addicted to pills because they have such easy access to it. But there's never, I want to say almost never, any crime associated with it other than, writing themselves a false prescription or getting their friends to write them false prescriptions because they can afford it, because they can get it for a couple bucks a pill, and plus they're doctors. So, the crime comes in when you make it unaffordable, and then they have to commit crimes to get the money to do it. So what you should really do to minimize the amount of damage that, druggies are causing is you want it to be as cheap as possible. And if you make it more expensive, you're going to be increasing the amount of crime that druggies have to do to support their habit.
Yeah, but I think there's a threshold where eventually it's just not going to be sustainable for them to commit all these crimes just to get super expensive drugs. I mean, look at fentanyl right now. It's so dirt cheap right now coming across the border. If they go after the source, then there's going to be less of it. The price is going to go up. Average people aren't going to be able to afford it, and you'll have less of it being peddled down the street.
Yeah, but I mean, I could also make the case that if they can't get their nice, clean fentanyl pills, that they'll go out in the street and they'll get a bag of brown heroin, and it'll be just as dangerous, if not more. Also, if you're supporting a cartel that at the back of it is some pharmaceutical factory, that's better than the guys that are making bathtub heroin or cutting the stuff in some warehouse in the cliff.
Well, that's true. But, how do you attack this thing? It's like eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time, right?
No, here's how you attack this thing. You legalize all of it.
I disagree with you there. But
why?
Well, because there would be mayhem, I think, in the streets. Some people, unfortunately, don't know what's best for themselves.
Okay, so look, I like to use the example of prohibition. We had alcohol illegal for a while. When we re-legalized it, was there more or less mayhem surrounding alcohol than we had during prohibition? We took away the Al Capone. We took away the bootleggers. We took away all the cops that were getting bribed for all the speakeasies. We took away all the speakeasies. Those are all criminal organizations. I would say we had much less chaos. You didn't have to sneak into the back room or the underground room under the Jewel Hotel in downtown so you could get a drink.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I don't know that it's a good comparison, but
why wouldn't that work with like all drugs? Why wouldn't that work with all recreational drugs or weed?
Well, I mean, that's true, but then you're talking about not just endangering the people that are taking the drugs, you're talking about endangering everyone else, too, around them.
How are you endangering them?
These people are out driving on the streets. And,
they're already doing it anyway, and they're already driving. You don't create new drug users when you legalize it. It's going to stay about the same. Again, the lesson from Prohibition. We had a set number of drinkers when Prohibition came around. That number actually went up just a little bit, almost statistically insignificant. When Prohibition was repealed, that number stayed about the same. So we don't have any more or less people that are on the roads or in the schools or in the shopping malls or are on the trains with us. It's about the same amount of usage there. It's just above ground.
They tried it in Portland, Oregon, and look how that worked out. They ended up repealing it.
Well, see, this is great because, Eric, this is what Lynn brought up. I got an email from Lynn. I know you didn't see this, but Lynn, he's making the case that every time drugs are legalized and promoted, the government always over-regulates it, and customers go to cartel dealers to get the drugs cheaper. We end up with more dangerous additives that are known or unknown to the user, which increases overdoses and deaths. So, yes, repeal it all. Get the government out of it, and then you don't have that problem either. It's just, look, I'm not going to convince you today.
I'd like to see a case study on that because I don't.
We have a case study of Prohibition, but also
Prohibition. No, I'm not buying that one. We need something a little more substantial than that.
What,
like real drugs?
Well, here's something that I think I want you to think about walking off into the sunset here. I share an ideology in this arena with the founding fathers, and you don't. And I'm not saying that is pejorative to you. I'm saying the founding fathers were aware of drugs. They decided not to regulate them or make them illegal or put any powers in the Constitution or at any state level, in the Philadelphia level. That just throwing it out there, something to think about. I know we're not going to convince each other today, but it's a great discussion, Eric. Good stuff.
That's all right.
All right.
Hey, thanks, James.
Thanks for letting me have the last word. I know that's
appreciate it.
Great advantage here. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I got an email here on the Arlington mayor situation. Let me read it before I pass it along. A couple other legalizing drug emails. And then we got to get to the old WNBA has a toy problem. That's coming up on the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. What did I say? Yeah, the phone lines are full. Everyone wants to talk about drugs. And listen, it's based on this headline today that Donald Trump has confirmed that he's working on plans with the Pentagon to make strikes against Mexican cartels. And look, it's not that they're good people and they don't have it coming and, they don't deserve a little bit of justice here. But if y'all think this is going to end the drug war or solve the drug war or improve the drug war, this isn't the solution. This is, I don't know. It's been tried. We did this. We knocked off Pablo Escobar. Did one person miss a bump of cocaine in America? Is there anything you can do to get Hunter Biden to stop liking crack? And as long as there's a demand, there's going to be the trade. As long as someone can make money for it. Look, this is as much an economic problem and with an economic solution as this is some social, societal ill or some vice crime. No, economics tells you that if there's going to be a demand for it, there's going to be a market for it. Now we're just deciding, is that going to be a white market or a black market? No, not like that. Don't call Jasmine on me and get me all in trouble.
Anglos.
I know. This is Clint and Santo. You're on the WBAP.
Hey, good afternoon. I just wanted to weigh in and say that you finally said something today that I totally agree with. I usually have something that I disagree with in most of your statements.
Well, hang on. First off, thank you for listening, even though you disagree with me most days. I give you so much credit for that because it scares the hell out of me that I say unpopular stuff that I'm running people off.
No, I was just wanting to let you know that I agree with you that they ought to legalize it and they ought to reduce the price per dose to the lowest possible to encourage them to buy as much as they can. And like everything else, all the weak people in the world will call themselves out.
Well, they're already doing it. And look, you wonder how people get rolled up into this to begin with. Like, who's the guy how do you smoke your first crack rock knowing that there's not a good story at the end of this? No one's like, well, I started smoking crack and then I made it to the Super Bowl or I got my first Grammy. Well, I mean, for some of them it does. But how did you come to this realization? Why are you so pro legalization? You just want them to kill themselves?
Pretty much. I'm 74 years old, and I have watched this go up and down, this cycle go up and down, up and down, up and down, and I'm just tired of dealing with it. Give them all they want. Let them fill their veins and their bodies with all of this poison and die as soon as they possibly can and put themselves out of their misery and us as taxpayers as well.
Jesus, Clint, you got kind of dark on me there, bud. Listen, I was thinking more lighthearted, like, look, 100 years ago, cocaine was legal. You could put it in Coke. You could put it in medicines that you got at the drugstore. You could go get cocaine if you wanted and just sniff your little heart out. Was there a cocaine cartel? No, there wasn't. So I think we have enough history. If you want to get rid of the cartels, just make it legal. I'm not trying to kill everybody like Clint, though. Good Lord. Rick, Oklahoma, you're on WBAP.
Well, thanks for taking my call. I'm going to be one of those that disagree with you, and the reason I'm saying that is if we just make it okay, we just say, okay, you can have all the drugs you want, I think that's going to open the door for young folks who really didn't have any idea about wanting to do drugs, but now that they think it's legal, they might go in there and start experimenting with it more and more and more, and I think it's going to increase the problem instead of making it worse. Sometimes you have to stand up and fight for what we think is right, and the drug cartels are wrong, and no matter how you look at the situation, it's wrong, and it's not moral. It's a moral issue as well as a sickness issue, but you can't enable these people, and you just have to stand up for what you think is right. That's just my opinion on it. So
let me tell you, because I get the moral argument a lot, and my response to that is not everything that is immoral should be illegal. You shouldn't be thrown in jail and have your life ruined for everything that is immoral. So we got to take that one out of there. But I can't disprove your theory that if we legalize all drugs, then more people will do it and suffer because of it. I mean, we have some examples of people who've kind of decriminalized it, like Portugal, and that's sort of played out in my favor. So I can't disprove you there, but I can go back in history and say 100 years ago, before we had drug prohibition, people had, the full smorgasbord of anything they could try, and some of them did get whacked out. But it was about the same proportion as we see now, maybe a little bit less. But like I think back to Tombstone. You remember the movie Tombstone? Everyone likes that. Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, I'm your Huckleberry.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Now you remember how Wyatt Earp's wife was addicted to laudanum?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's an opiate derived tonic, and it's like being addicted to pills now. She was a pillbilly. We've always had it.
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's a fact. You're right. We have always had it.
Okay, but making it illegal didn't get rid of it. It just also created our addicts plus a cartel, plus this whole criminal industry that didn't exist when Wyatt Earp's wife was addicted to opiates.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But making it illegal is not going to get rid of it either.
Oh, I'm not promising to get rid of the drugs. I'm promising to get rid of the cartels. The drugs are going to be with us. I think the lesson is that we're going to have druggies, whether it's legal or illegal. The only question is, are we going to have cartels supplying them, or Merck and Bayer and Pfizer and I don't know, whoever makes Tylenol or whatever. Great discussion, Rick in Oklahoma. Listen, we're going to step aside for a second because I have a very special guest coming up in the next segment. Attorney General Ken Paxton coming back on it. He was just on last week. Why do we get him twice in 2 weeks? This is fantastic. But I'm going to ask him, because he has some lawsuits that are flying around trying to get some of these fleeing Texas Democrats back into the state. Is anyone going to get arrested? Are any of these other states going to cooperate? Find out from the Texas Attorney General live next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome back to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM, WBAP. My next guest is the esteemed Attorney General of the great state of Texas. Ken Paxton's coming back on. And Ken Paxton, one thing we want to talk to you about, probably nothing else at the moment, is the fleeing state representatives that have gone to a bunch of other blue states and are refusing for any business to get done in the Texas State House. This is, of course, predicated by the redistricting vote. Are there going to be any negative consequences visited upon them besides just a couple of fines here and there? See, that actually sounds promising. It's never happened before. What's different this time around? So what's the recent history here? How long were they gone when they did this in 2021? Agreed. All right, we're talking with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton on WBAP. Ken Paxton, when we do see them come back, have they done enough that you can just go ahead and throw cuffs on them? Okay, that sounds a little odd. Ken Paxton, what should I be asking about this situation that I'm not? Well, is there any charges that are possible for the people helping them? You know, I heard rumor of Beto might get in trouble from some bribery statute. Mm-hmm. Ken Paxton, we had Jasmine Crockett over the weekend say if not for gerrymandering, the Democrats would control the House of Representatives. And does that should that even play into the math here on whether or not we redistrict? Yeah, Massachusetts, Vermont. Yeah, I've seen the list go around. That's a killer point. All right. Well, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, stay on them. I hope we can see some handcuffs flying around when they get back, but keep us updated. Thank you, sir. So there's a little bit of hope in there. Someone could get in trouble for this for 5 seconds. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, the WNBA has a toy problem. Or does it? This is The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. According to Speaker of the House of the Texas Legislature, Dustin Burrows, DPS has set up a special tip line to track down the missing lawmakers who've fled the state over the redistricting vote. Yes, if you happen to see them, you can call this special tip line. You don't need a special tip line. Just follow their social media. They're bragging about it. Here I am with the mayor of wherever. Here I am at the capital of wherever. They can't stop telling you where they're at. Are you kidding? These people are the easiest to find ever. All right, so let's go to the WNBA here, where we talked about this last week, and when we had last revisited this on Friday's show, there had been 3 games in the WNBA where someone had thrown an adult toy on the court. And I was making the case that, of course, it needs to stop. Of course, it's inappropriate. There's children around. We don't need to be exposing children to, phallic-looking toys. And the immature part of me said, okay, if there weren't kids around, I can see how that would be funny. But I figured this would just stop. I don't know why I thought it would stop. I thought it would get old. I thought, people think it's a hack move. Someone already did it or whatever. It didn't stop. In fact, now I think we're up to 5 or 6. How many are we up to? I think it's 6 that we're up to now. So now I'm starting to think it's a problem. I was saying, for a brief little unacceptable behavior, that's not going to be bad for the league. It keeps it in the news. It even gets a little bit of an edge, It's edgy. It's not so boring and stuffy and no, it's still going to happen. Now we're starting to get into the arena where I think it's going to be a problem for them. And all they have to do really is just crack down hard on the people that are throwing the toys, no pun intended. But you're starting to get some real ugly headlines. Over the weekend, at a WNBA game in Brooklyn, someone tried to chuck another toy onto the court, ended up hitting a 12-year-old girl in the leg. See, now we have a problem. So the New York Police Department on Friday released a photo and a short video clip of a person of interest, and he kind of looks like me when I was 20. He's wearing a Beavis and Butthead shirt, just looks like a generic white guy. But this is the latest. This is a series now. And the way it was described in NBCnews.com, the NBC News, they say the incident in Brooklyn was the latest in a series of men throwing blank toys at WNBA players over the past 2 weeks. Oh, it's all men. So we're just going to throw men under the bus. That's interesting. So this has been going on since July 29th. And it started at a Golden State Valkyries game against the Atlanta Dream in College Park, Georgia. And then it happened in Phoenix, Chicago, Los Angeles, and now this Brooklyn situation. This is too many. This is starting to be a real problem. The way they're handling it deserves a little bit of scrutiny too. You have the media throwing some microphones in front of one of the head coaches. This is the head coach for the Minnesota Lynx. And she says, you don't have to exaggerate. It's bad enough. You don't have to make up things for this to be condemned. But she said this has been going on for centuries.
Things onto the court. Obviously, you guys know what the object is. And I just want to comment on, this has been going on for centuries. The sexualization of women. This is the latest version of that. And it's not funny. And it should not be the butt of jokes on any radio shows or in print or in any comments. The sexualization of women is what's used to hold women down. And this is no different. This is just its latest form. And we should write about it in that way. And these people that are doing this should be held accountable. And we're not the butt of the joke. They're the problem. And we need to take action.
Okay, did you catch all that? Because the audio was terrible and they wouldn't stop bouncing basketballs in the background. But she was saying that there shouldn't be any jokes about this. Now, hang on a second. She specifically said radio shows. I can still tell jokes. I condemn it. It is a bad action. I wish it would stop. I wish it had never started. It is completely inappropriate in a family setting to be throwing, obviously, sexualized toys in the court of public opinion, metaphorically speaking. But it shouldn't be something that gets too focused on, or you're going to encourage copycats. It should just be like, oh, well, that's not a basketball, and then move on. Don't pick it up and don't look confused and don't ask for a technical foul. And oh man, but the world we live in 2025, it's just so fast paced. They're just so into everything. There are prop bets for the next color of the toy that's going to be thrown on the court at a WNBA game. Did you realize that? In the first 3 instances, they were all purple. I don't know why. I don't know if that was just a coincidence. And so after 3 games in a row of it being purple, social media was passing around the prop bets on what the next color would be. And then the internet got broken over the weekend because in the 4th game where one was thrown, it was green. And that was just too much. He just blew up sports books all over the globe. Vegas was melting down. It was pandemonium in the streets because it was green. Who would bet on green? I don't know. But they're going to keep getting asked about this. They need to get some marketing gurus together and come up with the messaging for this, because when you just have random players going out, saying their own things, doing their own interviews, it's not going to die down. Now, this whole thing about this has been going on for centuries, it sounds weird when she says that, because no, there hasn't been women playing basketball for centuries. There hadn't even been basketball for centuries. And no one's been throwing toys on the courts for centuries. So she's just talking about the sexualization of women. I don't know if this fits into the whole general historical trend of what we consider patriarchy and male-dominated, societal norms. This could be something new. This I don't think this really fits in with the whole, oppression versus chivalry dynamic that civilization's always had. Where women, you stay in the home, you don't make as much as men, but also you don't have to go to war. And if you're going to step over this puddle, I'll take my cape off and you can walk on it. This is not fitting in that storyline at all. This is a bunch of immature goobers, probably dudes, that think it's funny. And so now they have a system set up where they're debating putting nets around the court. So what? So it'll catch all the toys that are being thrown? They're like, yes, this is for player safety. Okay, if it's for player safety, charge someone with a crime, maybe. That'll stop. But putting a net on up, how high does that net have to be? What, do you think we can't throw it over the net? And so think about it like this. If they do put up a net, and now for the dork prankster that thinks this is funny, the idiots that keep doing this, now they have to throw it 25, 30 feet in the air to get it over the net before it comes back down. So now it's got even more velocity on its way down. It is a more dangerous situation that you've created with the net. Drives me nuts. It is kind of funny though, but it drives me nuts. 800-288-9227. How would you solve the problem of toys being thrown on the court? Marital aids being thrown on the court at WNBA games. Have it charge people with crimes? Ban them forever? That's all I got. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, no, your girl on food stamps does not deserve a popsicle. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Well, hey there, Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Well, I asked for solutions to the WNBA's toy problem. It's now been, 5 games that marital aids have been thrown onto the court. I mean, it's kind of funny the first time, but still wholly inappropriate, seeing as how there's supposed to be a family event and children are watching. So I wish it wouldn't have happened once. I hope it never happens again. But now it's happened, 5 times? Some girl got hit in the leg in Brooklyn. And so the question is, if you're the NBA, how do you make them stop it? 800-288-9227. This is Joe in Carrollton. You're on WBAP.
Man, the fact that a 12-year-old little girl got hit by one of these things, that could be a form of assault. So anyone caught doing it, they should have to register as a sex offender. I bet it'd stop immediately.
Yeah,
I'll hang up so I can listen.
Well, you don't have to hang up. We can have a conversation here. But I mean, is that already illegal to wave a obscene toy in front of a child's face? It seems like something that would already be illegal, and you wouldn't have to step up any charges or pass any new laws. Because it's something that has come up on the show when we talk about the obscene stuff that's in your kids' libraries at school. It's like, well, you can't expose kids to obscenities and phallic things that are intentionally supposed to be titillating for not educational purposes. I think you're onto something. Could we just throw in a sex offender statute on that one? Kent and Garland, you're on WBAP.
Yeah, James, for about the same cost as putting up those nets around the courts, I bet they could get a surveillance cameras set up to watch all the stands that are close enough that people can throw things. And then if somebody does throw something, you just wind back the video and find out who it is, and now you've got video evidence to charge them with a crime.
Okay, they're doing that now. They're identifying all these guys and showing their videos and trying to track them down, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Well, maybe they need a little help with motion detectors or AI or something so they can zero in on the people throwing things.
The guy that threw the one in Brooklyn that hit the girl in the leg, they have a good photo of him. They have a still frame from the video. They have him walking out of the stadium right past the camera. You can tell his facial features. He's wearing a Beavis and Butthead shirt, and it's like a new one from the reboot. So I think they're going to catch all these guys, but I'm surprised it got this far, actually, Kent.
Yeah, well, if they can actually identify the specific seat that the thing was thrown from, and then maybe check that against the names or credit card numbers of people who bought the tickets, that would also help. I'm a software engineer myself, so I went right for the high-tech solution. It's good to know they're already working on it.
Well, I like how in hockey, you're encouraged to throw stuff on the ice. I know technically they don't want you to throw stuff on the ice, but like doesn't Detroit throw a squid on the ice? If there's a hat trick, you're supposed to chuck your hat on the ice. And there's a few other little secret things that happen in different stadiums where they have traditions where they throw stuff on the ice. But here it's frowned on. Should they just embrace it as part of the show? I mean, if it wasn't an adult obscene toy, I would think, yeah, maybe they need to embrace whatever this cool trend is, but it's not.
Well, if they're throwing anything dangerous, that's got to be a crime. I mean, if they want to throw flowers, I'd be okay with that.
Great example. Thank you very much, Kent and Garland. This is Jason in Flower Mound. You're on WBAP. What would you do?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say something unpopular, but if they stopped subsidizing the WNBA, they wouldn't have the problem in the first place. But with that said...
Stop. You're so mean. We're trying to help them out here, Jason.
But I'm surprised it made past security.
No.
Do they not have metal detectors?
Well, they're not metal. They would get through a metal detector. They're like jelly or plastic.
It's an X-ray machine. It's not metal. It's an X-ray machine.
Well,
so you literally, I go through security every day, and your bags and everything are X-rayed, and they can see exactly what it is.
I don't think they X-ray people to go into WNBA games.
Well, there's your answer right there.
We got to start X-raying people for toys, for adult toys?
No, it's an X-ray machine. I go through security in a courthouse every day, and you put it in a tray, and it goes through a machine, and it literally has a screened image of what's in your bag.
Look, not to make a bad topic even worse, but couldn't you hide this pretty easily?
Well, you could. I mean, but I don't think they're somebody that's, trying to be a smart aleck is going to go through that much trouble.
Well, maybe the adult toys would at least get smaller if that was the
Well,
case. We'll just leave it at that.
You know, I mean, if you want to talk about disrupting a public event or whatever, you can make it a felony.
Okay. Yeah, they got to do something though, because it's not stopping whatever they're doing. It's not working. So all ideas are welcome, and those were good. That was good stuff. That's Jason in Flower Mound. Thank you, sir. My kids are starting school this week on Wednesday. Are your kids starting school? I went ahead and went through some of the new public education laws that are going to effect in Texas for this school year, and I'll share my summary with you next, parents and grandparents, on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Do you have kids? I got 4 of them little punks. I'm so ready for them to go back to school. Bug Tussle starts school on Wednesday. That's cool. And there's some changes to the school since we started going there. For some reason last year, they had to put a fence around the campuses of Bug Tussle. Was that like some state law? That was weird. Like, we need a fence. You're in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, well, we still need a fence. What are you fencing in? A big rectangle of grass? But they got rid of the hitching post this year, too, so that was kind of sad. But no, jokes aside, here's what all of our kids, and for some of you grandkids, I'm jealous, are going to be facing that's different. Now, the new laws go into effect technically on September 1st, but it's been my observation that every school I've looked at, they're changing the rules for starting the first day of school. Now they're not going to wait till September 1st. And the big one that I'm really interested to hear from all of the people listening about is the cell phone ban. Because I had mentioned this last week, and I was like, what's your school doing? Are y'all doing something different? Because some schools make you put it in a bag that they can't open. Some schools make you turn it in. So someone sent me an email, and I forgot where it was, but it was around here, and they were saying that they just have to turn it off, and it's almost like the honor system for whether or not it stays off. It's like, really? You're just trusting them with it? Here it is. Russell sent this. Decatur School District. Our kids can have their phones, but they have to stay off all day long. If they get caught with them, they get taken. It's like a $15 fee to get them back. But they don't have to turn them in at the beginning of the day or put them in a pouch or nothing like that. Just keep them put up and turned off. Interesting. I think that's what they're doing in Bug Tussle. But I'm really not up to speed on my own kids quite yet. I'll find out tomorrow because that's the last minute. I'm a last minute guy. I start my Christmas shopping on December 23rd. I find out the new school rules. What is it, Monday? And school starts on Wednesday. The other one that's going to be new that everyone should notice is the 10 Commandments are required to be in every classroom in Texas public elementary and secondary schools. So big ups to Jesus for that one. Not sure if it'll help with the whole lot. Certainly can't hurt. And certainly be nice to see something that is of a religious nature, not treated like an absolute pariah. Oh, no, we can't teach our kids about it. It might overlap with religion in some fashion. It's a ridiculous way to go about your education. Senate Bill 11, a new one, allows time for prayer and reading religious texts. Now, it's not going to be part of the curriculum, but it requires school boards to vote on allowing designated prayer time. So then if they get voted on, yes, it will allow a school to designate a time for prayer and Bible reading. And I think that's going to happen a lot in the schools out in the middle of nowhere and not at all at the schools in town. I'll be interested to see what happens in that very important middle ground of the suburban school districts, like a Decatur, like a Frisco, like even I would count like a Forney. DEI has now been banned in school. There should be no diversity, equity, or inclusion initiatives K through 12 public schools and also in colleges here. But it also bans the teaching of gender identity and sexual orientation while requiring parents to opt their children into whatever sex education there is. There's not an opt-out, there's an opt-in for sex education. A new law allows parents to restrict library materials from their student. So that gives parents and school boards the final say over what materials are allowed in their school's libraries. For some schools, they were leaving it up to the school's librarians. And school boards were like, well, it's not up to me. It's the librarian. I didn't get to choose. And if they said it's okay, I'm not a librarian. I would defer to the expertise of libraries, and that would be librarians. And it was just a real cowardly deflection from the very real criticism of allowing obscenities in front of kids. Only approval of 50 parents or 10% of the parents in the district, whichever is less, would be needed to create oversight councils. Love that. The next one bans certain food additives in school lunch. Don't care. Next one, right to prayer for public school employees while on duty. My God, I can't believe that wasn't already legal, but It's just codifying it into law that a public school employee could engage in religious speech or prayer while on duty. And this, what comes to mind, and I think what this is based on, is that coach in Washington that got in trouble for kneeling and praying on the field after games. So this wasn't during school times. It wasn't a school function, but after the school function was over, and it was in a school facility at the midfield of the football stadium. But I got some great news for you. At all the little schools out in the middle of nowhere, where the news cameras don't go, where the newspaper reporters don't go, far from the delicate sensibilities of the average MSNBC viewer. We pray at football games. We pray on the loudspeaker at football games, and not after it's over. Like right before the whole thing starts, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll say a prayer. Yeah, it happens at most of the schools out in the middle of nowhere. And I get to see it because when we go travel, when we have away games, and we get to go to a Caddo Mills, or we get to go to a Quinlan Ford or Sulphur Springs or Mount Pleasant or Paris or wherever, we get to see, do they pray in their stadiums? They do too. You know where we don't see it? If you have to play one of the big city teams. Ha, ha, ha. Another new law requires students to take financial literacy courses. Again, something that should have been legal yesterday. It requires all Texas public high school students to complete a 1/2 credit course in personal financial literacy. Didn't we have that? We had economics my senior year of high school. You had to take half a year of government, half a year of economics. Apparently, it's not cashing in with some people, especially when it comes to understanding student loans. And another big change is $8.5 billion in new public education funding. So when they talk about how they're out of money, go dig in that $8.5 billion before you want to raise my taxes. This is Taylor in Canton. You're on WBAP.
Yes, sir. Resonated a bunch of what you were saying. I graduated 2008 and from Forney. And I mean, cell phones are not allowed. I didn't even know that cell phones in school were a thing right now. Like if you got it found, it would get taken up till the end of class.
So do you have?
You were never allowed to use it.
I'm sorry. Do you have kids in school right now?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, no, man. Cell phones are definitely in schools. Really, like, listen, I graduated in the 90s, and there were some rich kids that had cell phones way, way back in the day. And as college, there was a few more kids. But now everyone has a cell phone, and especially by the time you're in high school, all those kids have cell phones. And I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret here. I kind of like it. I like having my kids having a cell phone in class. I like being able to reach them. You know, I don't want them to be on it all day, every day, but, you know, I can text them.
Absolutely. But they've made it too easy, I feel like, from what I've been hearing, for them to use it for learning. You're supposed to be learning in school and not on your phone.
Yeah, well, I also feel like the world.
I had books too. I didn't have laptops.
Yeah, right. Those old things like the manual books, right?
Yes, sir. The highlighters and underlining.
So here's where I try not to be the old man yelling at clouds like, get off my lawn. The world that my kids are going to be going into in 5-10 years, whenever they fall out of school, is going to be so online centric, so social media centric, so phone centric, that I think they'd be better off learning how to deal with this. Even if it is a constant distraction, then they need to learn how to deal with this constant distraction. They need to find the fine balance between having the power of all human learning and understanding in your left hand at all times, and also being able to put it face down on the table and pay attention to the human beings that are in the room with you. And I don't think they'll learn that if we take it away or if we just ban them.
I don't disagree at all. I went to college in 2008 and everything started transferring to the computer online, and I fell apart. Like I wasn't used to studying on tablets and on laptops. I wanted books.
All right, Taylor. Well, that world is not existing anymore. It's going to be different from here on out.
35. So
right. Well, I like this whole thing where you don't have to read books anymore. Just get an audio book and you can listen to it on your way home while you're stuck in traffic on the way to Bug Tussle. Coming up next, we got to play Dead or Alive. It's the game show on the James Show where we're playing for 2 tickets to see Jason Aldean. His event is Thursday. The concert is going to be at the Dos Equis Pavilion this Thursday. If you want to win Jason Aldean tickets, I want to give them to you. Call in 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. And if you can tell me if these 10 country legends are dead or alive, they'll be yours. Dead or alive, next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Well, hey there. Welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Welcome to the big show. I wouldn't bother calling in to win the Jason Aldean tickets right now. The lines are full, but if you want to go ahead and get a pair of your tickets, he's playing this week. It's on Thursday, Dos Equis Pavilion. Go to livenation.com. But I got to give away a pair right now for our game show, Dead or Alive. Oh, I thank you, Mr. Jovi. Nailed that intro yet again. Hey there. Welcome to today's edition of Dead or Alive. I am your host, James Parker. Today we're playing for 2 tickets to see Jason Aldean, Full Throttle Tour 2025, coming to Dos Equis Pavilion this Thursday with special guests Nate Smith, Ray Lynn, DJ Silver. For tickets and information, go to livenation.com. But I'm going to try and give away a pair of tickets right now. If someone can guess if these country legends are dead or alive. Today's category, country legends. Let's do ladies first. Tammy and Venus, you ready for dead or alive?
I'm ready.
Okay. Dolly Parton, dead or alive?
She's alive.
She is alive. George Jones, dead or alive?
George is dead.
Yes, died in 2013. Mel McDaniels, dead or alive?
Not sure, but I'm going to say dead.
He is dead. He died in 2011. He was born the same year as Joe Biden. Anyway. Waylon Jennings, dead or alive?
Waylon is dead.
Tanya Tucker, dead or alive?
Tanya's alive.
Tanya is alive. Tammy, you're killing it. Willie Nelson, dead or alive?
Oh, he's still kicking.
Alive, 92 years old for the Godfather of Texas. I know. The studio audience is a big fan. Toby Keith, dead or alive?
Unfortunately, Toby is gone.
Yeah, he just died last year. The gambler, Kenny Rogers, dead or alive?
Kenny's gone as well.
He died in 2020. Crystal Gale, the girl with the longest hair in the world, dead or alive?
Okay. I want to say that Crystal's alive.
74 years old. Tammy, you've only got one more. George Strait, dead or alive?
King George, he's living life.
He just did a benefit concert for the flood. I wanted to give him some props for that. All right, well, congratulations, Tammy. You just had a perfect game. You got all 10 first time around, and so you have won yourself a pair of tickets to see Jason Aldean this Thursday. Who are you taking?
I don't know yet. Maybe my daughter.
What about your husband?
He's not into the country thing, but my daughter is, so.
All right, well, don't take him then. We'll just leave that to you and your husband and put you on hold. Garrett will get you information, email you the tickets. Ha. Hey, Tammy's husband, she's going to go to a great concert without you. She just outed you on the air. My next topic on the James Show is going to be based on a viral video. Now, I didn't see the viral video before I saw the absolute bloodbath and carnage around this viral video, because this lady put out the viral video and then like Matt Walsh and a few other influencers commented on it, which means all the people who hate Matt Walsh and some other influencers had to comment back, and then all of their little fanboys. So it's just, this is what happened from this one viral video, which really stemmed from the question of there's a mother, single mom, on food stamps, and she's asking, does her little girl not deserve a popsicle? Now she's referring to the new rules from RFK where they're trying to not allow food stamps to be used for sodas and candies and ice cream and treats. But check this out.
I am so dumbfounded right now. There are people that genuinely think that people who use EBT don't deserve soda, candy, or desserts.
Kind of.
You're going to tell me that my daughter doesn't deserve a popsicle? You're going to tell me I don't deserve to get brownies?
Yes.
You're going to tell me I can't have Dr. Pepper with my dinner?
Yes.
And all I'm hearing is be grateful, be grateful. It's free food. Get off of your throne of entitlement and take a look around, you guys. Everyone is one bad day away from being homeless or even needing government assistance. Do you guys not see how that makes you look? Your lack of empathy and understanding is outstandingly atrocious.
I love they've just totally tried to own this empathy term. How come you don't have empathy? You have no empathy. Where's your empathy for me? Where's your empathy for the person paying for it? You're taking money by force from someone and then having the government give it to you. And you're like, how dare they have any opinion on how I spend their money? Screw you. Where's your empathy for the people who earned that money that was taken from them? Your thoughts? 800-288-9227. I just want to throw that out there. I thought maybe you'd have some hot opinions you would like to share with the class. Do people on food stamps deserve a popsicle? Do they deserve to have Dr. Pepper with their dinner? 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Well, hey there. Welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Viral video had a just brutal debate swarming around. And this is one where I get it and you get it. Both sides of the argument. You mean my child can't have a popsicle? It does seem kind of trifling that if you're going to give them $5, why not let them buy a popsicle? What do they have to buy an organic banana with it? But on the other hand, that's not your money. And if you are so poor that life and death is hanging in the balance that of the nutrition that you're going to get with this, then you wouldn't be buying popsicles. In fact, the fact that you're buying popsicles shows that it's not really necessary for your existence or your nutrition. This is a luxury now. You've turned something that was a life or death situation, made it into a luxury, and you're wondering why people aren't jumping on board with you? That's why it really is that simple. So the question becomes, what about you? Do you think moms on Snap should be able to buy their little daughter, their little princess popsicles? Because a couple of things you can't see in the video. Her makeup is all over her face. It's not like she just put on some lip gloss. She has full face makeup. She actually has nails that are done. You can tell she's talking into a smartphone. So she has a smartphone. She has an internet connection. There's a pretty big TV in the background, but she can't afford to buy a popsicle with her own money. Pretty tired of that. Also, you're upset you can't buy like cookies. You can't buy cookies with food stamps anymore. But you know what you can buy? You can buy sugar and flour and butter, vanilla, maybe some chocolate chips to go in there. You can buy all the ingredients to make junk food. You just can't buy them already pre-made. We're just asking you, if you're going to eat terrible, if you're going to just eat empty carbs with a shovel, at least put in a little bit of work and make the damn cookies yourself. No, they don't even want to do that. Let's go to the phones. Terry, Lake Worth, you're on WBAP.
Hey, I have to agree with you on, if you're on food stamps, the things that this woman is talking about are luxuries. They're not necessities to feed your family. Soda, popsicles, brownies, cookies, these aren't something that you have the luxury of buying if you're on assistance. So basically in this scenario specifically, the luxury is what you can actually afford with your own money. The assistance to make sure you and your family are fed are nutritional food that you should cook, and preferably not even all the processed frozen stuff, but good food to keep you healthy, not the junk food that's slowly killing off the population anyway. So it's a luxury.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
We agree. We do. And I'm out there making money, and they're out there taking it away. And, these luxury items that other people feel free to buy on food stamps, I look at twice before I decide whether I'm going to get any or not.
Oh, isn't that the worst? 'Cause it's like, even today, I'm doing the math here because, we don't get paid until Friday. And so I'm getting kind of close to it here. And so like today when I was going on my break, I'm like, well, do I buy a $4 Monster Energy drink that I really want? Or do I go down to the break room and I get the 4-hour-old free coffee and I just doctor it up with some creamer and some sweetener? I got the coffee. I didn't get a Monster Energy drink, and I'm a grown ass man that has a job and I make money.
You didn't get a Starbucks. You went and made yourself a pot of coffee.
Yeah, and I even got the cheapest version of my second choice. Thank you very much. This seems like such an open and shut case, doesn't it, Terry? This is Merlin in Mansfield. You're on WBAP.
Good afternoon. I agree with you and the previous caller. I was born, I graduated high school as a ward of the court. My first job was a warehouse. I don't have a college degree, anything like that. I've never taken a dime of assistance from the government or anybody else. And last year I paid $85,000 in income taxes.
Good Lord, son.
Hard work and perseverance pays off. You want the brownies and the whatever, put your ass to work and get it.
What are you, backup linebacker for the Cowboys? That's a lot to pay in taxes.
It is, and I'm tired of people telling me that I need to pay more.
Yeah. Well,
So that they can be lazy and not get up at 4:30 in the morning and work until 7 in the evening.
they think it's
Get up
so
Get up
easy.
and go to work.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you very much, Marlon.
I haven't been without a job since I was in high school.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you can only rely on yourself and you don't get handouts. Does anybody disagree, Garrett? Anyone on hold? This because the lines are all full. Everyone agree? Nah, I think they all agree. Let's try. Scott Krugerville, do you agree or disagree?
I agree with you. I'm retired Army, and I volunteer at a food bank, and we give out a lot of sweets, a lot. So if they want some sweets, they can come down to a food bank. All your local food banks, they give out a lot of sweets. Walmart donates them to us. And so it's a lot of sweets we give them. So no, taxpayers shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you called in. If you do absolutely need free sweets, there are other avenues. You don't have to take it from the taxpayers. You don't have to take it from me involuntarily.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to run. I'm going to see if I can find someone who disagrees. James and Sherman, do you agree with me or disagree?
Well, I definitely agree because I've seen all this. I'm retired now. I just recently retired. But back in 1976 is the first time it really slapped me in the face to see this. I was just started a job at a grocery store. I've been there about a month. This woman came in, big diamond ring, driving a 1-year-old 1975 Cadillac loaded. Well, she was wearing a fur, everything.
I know where this is going, and she used food stamps.
Yeah, she had food stamps. She had like $400 in food stamps to buy groceries.
Dude, I saw that. I was a bagger in high school, and I saw the first time I saw that, I'm like, oh my goodness. And the 8,000th time I saw that, I'm like, I am scarred for life. Is there any way we can? No, I'm out of time. Thank you very much for you people on hold. I'm sorry I didn't get to you. Thank you very much for listening and spending your precious Monday with the James Show. If you need more James Show action, I'm about to get out here and go put up the podcast. Some good stuff on today's podcast. The Attorney General of the great state of Texas, Ken Paxton, came on and answered the question on whether or not someone's going to catch charges for fleeing the state, whether it's the lawmakers for running or Beto for supporting them financially. Does that count as a bribe? So remember the James Show podcast until I come on again tomorrow in 21 hours. In the meantime, stick around. Mark Levin's next. I'm James Parker. This has been News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP.